Hi guys, Paul here from PABrewNews. It's very bright out here. I should have got me sunglasses, but it's a very clear day. Very bright. The sun is shining in on me, and it's burning, and I hate my life. And it's accenting the old grays in my beard. Because I'm old. Like this beer. Old. Here we go. This is vintaged. This is Trip in the Woods, which I probably should have put that in the title and I didn't. Barrel aged series. This is vintage Bigfoot ale aged in bourbon barrels, coming in at a very sessionable 12.1 alcohol by volume. It is a 750 cork cap cage, as you can always see that. Let's see. Good things come to those who wait, especially when it comes to our cult classic Bigfoot barley wine style ale, combination of 1, 2, and 3 year Kentucky bourbon barrel aged Bigfoot. This vintage Bigfoot is a Goldilocks of blends that's just right. So there we go. It is a combine of 1, 2, and 3 year Kentucky bourbon barrel aged Bigfoot blended together. And that is what's in here right now in this 12.1 alcohol by the volume bottle of Bigfoot. And good morning to you, Brother Craig. Let's get this thing off here right now. Oh, and it says Beer Hounds beer review. The hop levels are high. The hop levels high. American barley wine. So I guess you got a point there. Pop. It smells nice. Okay. There we go. Pop. Whoop. That's gone. Let's pour it out. There we go. Very reminiscent, I guess you'd say, of Fred that I just had recently. And that whole talk when I was doing Fred had that the talk of American barley wine, American strong ale, old ale, what do we call this, barley wine? Because even, I don't know, I've had a couple different barley wines from, I've had well, all you need is a good Cuban cigar with this beast. Exactly. I've had a couple different versions of Bigfoot, obviously, and I always they're not as so heavily hopped as some of the other American barley wines I've had, but I do consider it the American barley wine style. So it is a little bit too light on the malt base for me. I think it should be bigger, and it's a little bit too heavy on the hop base. I think it should be lower, because I like the English style barley wines. But let's see what this one has to offer. What I see, I can't talk right now. I got my green thumb up my ass. Okay, here we go. That was not an Irish accent, by the way. That was more of a Somerset kind of thing, just popped out of my face. Anyway, let me get an aroma on this beast that is very orange, mahogany, soft carbonation rising up from the pinnacle of the glass. So let's get an aroma. Cheers. Nice caramel pepperiness, a little bit of raisin, toffee, burnt sugars. Ethanol alcohol is definitely wafting from the glass from that 12.1 with that nice Kentucky bourbon. Hint of a vanilla, raisin. Definitely got different layers of caramel, burnt sugars, toffee. Kind of like earthy notes too. Kind of fall leaf earthy notes. Nice little hint of vanilla in there though. Oh, there you go. Pretty good. Cheers. It's a bit thin. But most of the time I've had Bigfoot, I've always said, hey, this is a bit thin. I like a real big, nice, chewy barley wine. Very savory, thick, chewy, sweet, those kind of things. This one's not those things. Again, kind of goes right along with the aroma. A little bit of toffee, earthiness, a little fall leaf kind of quality, hint of raisin, hint of soft, hint of vanilla. Got those caramels, not super savory, sweet or anything like that, but they are there. Toffee, roast burnt sugars, that's going through there. And you have that nice peppery caramel of that wafting Kentucky bourbon going through there as well, which is nice. It's a little bit on the low side. It's like kind of like that medium side, hot, like tapering medium, high medium side of a mouthfeel. A little bit of oiliness in there, making it nice, making it linger on the palate just a little bit, makes it smooth beer. Really, for that 12.1%, it really drinks really easy, honestly, for 12.1. I just wish there was a little bit more savory aspect to the beer. I really do think it would be nice, a little bit more sticky sweet caramel, kind of wafting around the palate a little bit more. Light body, light lacing, burnt sugar, not too sweet. Sounds like my old lady on payday. There you go. Does her flavor linger as well? So there you go. To say, my old lady payday, she had that rum soaked the next day flavor. That liquor soaked quality with a hangover. It's a nice beer. It's one of those ones where the ABV, because there is ethanol alcohol. I mean, it's apparent it's 12.1. It's definitely apparent it's 12.1. That's what's lending it for me. It's easy drinking for 12.1, but it's also the little bit of burn, a little bit of warming in the chest. It's apparent, which a lot of these beers aren't, honestly. So it's kind of interesting to see this being so apparent that it is 12.1. So that's lending to that. You don't drink it fast. It's I wouldn't call it savory. It's just very known. Okay, I can't slam this. I have to take my time with it because it is a little bit rough to drink because of that quality. I really wish there was more fruits, dark fruits coming through this. I wish there was a little bit nuanced caramels and stuff. Maybe even butterscotch is coming through that. Kind of like a Backwoods Bastard has that beautiful almost butterscotch quality mixing with those nice vanillas and caramels. It is still a lighter beer. It is very easy to drink, but it has a little bit more quality to it. And I wish this one had those kind of qualities as well coming through there. Heading across PA Turnpike today from Pittsburgh to Philly. Where can you get this? Well, if you're in Pittsburgh area, you can go down to Lawrenceville, which is southwestern Pittsburgh, and you can go to the Beer Port. I'm pretty sure they have that. That's in Pittsburgh. You might be able to find this if you go down through, like when you're hitting like York, Lancaster area, those things. The Weiss markets, W-E-I-S, Weiss markets, they have a lot better distribution of beer than the ones up here. Like I get to Shoots now and again. I find that kind of stuff down that way, so you might be able to find one of those here. I got this, which I think they might be out, so it's even pointless for me saying this, but I got this at the Brew in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, off Route 80 in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. But if you're just taking 76, like 66, like was it 95 that in Pittsburgh, and then you hit 76, 66, 76 or whatever, and take it all the way through there. The place that I could say you could get off and check out some of the beer places would be Dillsburg off 332 or 322-15. Dillsburg has a beer store that has a lot of different cool stuff. It's right near that area. And then of course on the other side of the Susquehanna is Harrisburg, which has a couple different crazy beer places. And then when you go into Philly, on Route 30 in Philly, for sure, right outside Philly, there is a Whole Foods, and Whole Foods usually does have a really good beer section. So I would definitely check out Whole Foods if you're in the Philly area, outside the Philly area. And like I said, like, you know, Dillsburg has that really good beer place, and then so there's a couple different ones, Monk's Cafe and stuff in Harrisburg that you can probably check out. But that's in that area right there. But I don't know too many places along the interstates, the turnpike, not the interstates. I don't really take the turnpike. I can't remember the last time I was on the turnpike. Had to have been like at least a decade ago. So I usually maneuver around it. The only turnpike I ever actually end up going on now and again is the 476, which is like Poconos to Philly. And I only have to do that. I only do that if I'm going to the Philadelphia airport, basically, anymore, to take a ride over, to flight over to Portland or England or whatever. So. It's one of those ones. It's I don't know how to say this. I think it's just, to me, the bourbon, the Kentucky bourbon is very apparent in the beer, as far as the ABV, as far as the burning, as far as that smell, the stuff. But it's not like you just took a nice barley wine with a shot of bourbon in it and just wafted down. The bourbon would be much more apparent, much more, and especially it would be more unique. Like, you could be like, oh, that I can tell that this is Maker's Mark, or I can tell that this is this, or I can tell this is that. The bourbon that's in here, I can't. It's just generic bourbon flavor, if you know what I mean. Like, okay, generic bourbon, you know, components. All right, I'm getting this and this and this. Yeah, good. But I kind of like it when you drink a beer that's bourbon barrel aged, and you're like, oh, that has to be Maker's Mark, or that has to be Jim Beam, or that has to be this, or has to be that. I kind of like that. So yeah, you're not really getting that out of this. You're not getting enough components to really say, oh, this is this, this is this. It's got a generic, muddled. The beer itself, even though it's really good for what it is, and this is an old school. This is an OG, as they'd like to say in the beer world. Bigfoot was one of the first American barley wines, like Old Foghorn, I think it was, from Anchor Brewing Company, by the Maytag family, of course, and I think Sierra Nevada's Bigfoot. Those two had started in the early 80s, I do believe, and were two of the OGs, I guess you want to call them, for American barley wines or American strong ales in the craft beer industries in, you know, America. Before we really had a craft beer industry, it was just these little guys getting into this big guy world. So that, I mean, that's interesting. So you got to respect the tenure that these things have had on the market itself. I just think they're just, this beer particularly, it's just not that bombastic. It's not that rich. It's not that decadent. It's not that dense. You know what I mean? Like, those are the qualities I like with a huge, big, disgusting barley wine. And I do love my barley wines with age, and I do love my barley wines bourbon barrel aged. So I do like a very aged, authentic bourbon barrel aged English barley wine. But this is an American one, and you'll get a little bit more of that hop, that kind of fall leaf kind of pepperiness. Sometimes a little bit of orange. I'm not getting orange or anything like that, grapefruit out of this. Would be kind of nice to get a little twinge of an orange or something. And then usually it's indicative with a little bit of a lighter body, a little bit more just a soft toasted toffee kind of caramel, not something, you know, rich and decadent. So it's fitting the category of that American barley wine, American strong ale pretty well. It's just not my cup of tea generally when I go for barley wines. I remember in 2014 they made, Victory Brewing Company made the Old Horizontal, which is an okay American barley wine. It was all right. It was pretty good. I mean, it's just as good as, you know, the Bigfoots and stuff like that. But then they made an oaked Horizontal with bourbon. That was fantastic. And the bombastic kind of tonalities of the bourbon, just screaming in your face, and but yet at the same time not overshadowing the beer. And it just was a beautiful thing. I took it up to the Albino Rhinos Beer Fest, and we had that. I don't know, I think it might be on Maxwell Star's channel when we all drank the Oak Horizontal, 2014 Oak Horizontal, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that one, but I think so. It's almost noon, I think, or probably past noon now over where Craig is. I don't know if it's drinking time yet or not for Brother Craig. Hope so. Hope something's going down. I jumped on the British Buds video chat here yesterday for just a little bit late at night. Very confusing chat. Very confusing emotions coming from certain people in the chat. It was very different. Wasn't your hey ho good old buddy chat like I usually have with these people. There was also another person in the melee of the chat that didn't deserve to be there, that people add for weird reasons, and they bring up awkward comments. I don't know. It was a whole weird thing. But yeah, so I got on there for a little bit. Unfortunately, it's 11:50 a.m. So yeah, it's almost noon. It was close. It must be 6:50 here then, because I just got home from work not too long ago. Wasn't sure what time it was. I just talked with my parents for a little bit and came out here. But it was nice jumping on. They did. This is the first time I did the Google Meets, and the Google Meets worked great. So hopefully they will start using Google Meets more often. And Google Meets will be the kind of mainstay of this new streaming online kind of thing. So I'm not sure, but Google Meets worked. I just gotta charge up my headset and stuff and get on Google Meets and see if I can pair it correctly, because I just can't do not on the Apple device anyway. StreamYard just does not work for me. Jitsi worked, which I'm very happy with. That's an option. Google Meets worked perfectly fine for me last night, so hopefully Google Meets will be the new one. And basically you're just using Google Hangouts essentially, or something like that. You just download the app and hopefully you'll be able to link it to your channel and it'll work great. So that was pretty much that, working my ass off, so yay. Nothing too crazy. The only thing I could say is there's a beer place that I usually go to near my house, and they're selling it. They're selling it because, you know, the beer world's changed and they don't have help, and, you know, they need to enjoy their own human time because, you know, we all run out of it at some point in time, so they're deciding to sell it. Now, I don't know anything about running a business. I don't know anything about buying a business. I have no idea about how to get a loan, about, you know, getting a loan with no money down. I don't know any of that stuff. But what I do know, to a certain mild, meek, humble tone, is a little bit about beer. A little bit about beer. So, in my area, worth checking out, there's no breweries where I live out that way, but in Berwick here, my hometown, we have Berwick Brewing Company. They do great traditional German beers and stuff like that. Definitely worth checking out. Old Forge is always good to check out. New Trail Brewing Company in Williamsport makes the killer DIPAs, hazy DIPAs, is absolutely nailing it there. Up in the Wilkes-Barre area, you have the Breaker Brewing Company. There's another one in Milford, way the fuck up there, that I have to go check out, called Log Tavern. I'm excited to check out. Coming down through on 80, there's the Robin Hood Brewing Company. They do a lot of cool traditional stuff. It's right off 80 and near the Bellefonte area, so go check them out. And actually over in your neck of the woods, if you're near Pittsburgh area, run up to Zenopoli or Zenopoli area and go to it's right in my top of my head. Well, conquesting a little bit further this way is the Missing Link Brewing Company. And if you go to Butler, they have the Recon Brewing Company, Reclamation Brewing Company, Butler Brew Works, all fucking great. And Xenopoly, they have oh, my mind is just going bleh. I know exactly the fucking brewery too, because I had their glassware for a while. I did some of their beer reviews on off the top of my channel. I'm trying to remember what the fuck they're called. Anyway, I'll get back to that. But so yeah, but I was thinking about buying the the beer store. Like, part of me just was like, well, how about I buy it and run it? I mean, I know I have my other job too, but like, if I get an assistant, or hire some people and blah blah blah. I mean, I'm sure they make money. I mean, they didn't do it for 30 years if they didn't make money. You know what I mean? So if there's something that you could do in a genre that I enjoy, and then also make money doing it too, that just seems like a good idea. You know what I mean? Yeah, Xenopoly. Trying to think. I always say Xenopole. It's right outside Evans City, because I go to Evans City every year, or at least try to go at least twice a year. But I go to Evans City off 68 there for the Living Dead weekend, and I go to the Evans City Cemetery where they shot Night of the Living Dead and stuff. They'll have to excuse me for having this brain fart, because I'm having a massive brain fart of the brewing company and in that area. I don't know why I can't fucking think of it, because they do stuff like the pixelated IPA and stuff like that. They do all the kind of gaming artwork, like the old original Zeldas and stuff, kind of gaming artwork and stuff. Check out Pixelated IPA, and the brewing company will come up, because that's one of the IPAs there. But they do really cool beer, and they had a lot of different styles and types of beer when I went up there, which I thought was really cool. Shoe Brew. I think it's called Shoe Brew. SHUBREU. Shoe Brew. I could be wrong, but I think it's Shoe Brew. Hi, Bunny. How you doing? Yeah, I think it's called Shoe Brew. But the Missing Links Brewing Company had really cool beer. Recon just really kicks ass, and Reclamation is really great. And it's right there. Start in Butler or whatever, work all the way over. I mean, Interstate 80, if you want to take a little bit of a beer trip, I would say Interstate 80 is the one, not 76, but take Interstate 80, because if you're in Pittsburgh already, you're going to come up through 8, or you're going to come that way, so you can go to oh, from Cranberry. I went through Cranberry because my company has a company in Cranberry. I just didn't go to that place, so I'll have to check that out. Dented Keg, for sure. You go through that way, you go up through Cranberry, as you say, go all the way across the interstate, go up to like Franklin, and then you have the Ales for Trails Brewing Company. Really great, really good beer there, and that person behind the counter was just fantastic. Been there. Shoe is awesome. I'm glad you agree. Shoe is awesome. I finally got a chance to go to Slippery Rock and go to the brewing company there, which I had a few beers from them back in the day, and I'm saying too much, and I don't like that. I went there, and you know what? I hated it. I hated the experience. It was just shitty, so I'm never going to do that again. I did know their name off the top of my head, and now I just don't fucking know it. But I did go to Slippery Rock finally, and I was like, you know what? This sucks. But go up through that way, go to Ales to Trails, Ales for Trails or whatever in Franklin. That was really fun. You keep going down, Clarion River Brewing Company, always hit that. That's a really good time. Then you keep going down, like I said, Belfont. You hit the Robin Hood Brewing Company. You hit New Trail Brewing Company, Williamsport area. Then you get into the Bloomsburg area. You hit Marley's, which I'm not a big fan of it, but you check it out. Berwick Brewing Company, Old Forge Brewing Company. You keep going down. You know, then you get the Pocono Brewing Company. Then you get, you know what I mean. So you could take I mean, just driving from one point of PA to the next point in PA, just on 80, you can offshoot several brewing companies down the way, and obviously don't drink enough to get intoxicated, but you can pick up beers, you know, pick up crowlers, pick up cans, bottles and stuff all the way through. Boom, bam, and there you go. Another place, because you're pretty much on that side, I don't like the brewery in Slippery Rock. I just thought they were shit. I went in there and like, I've had some beers from there, and then like the Buck Snort Stout and stuff like that. But when we went in there, we didn't like the atmosphere. We didn't like the beers that were on there. I'm just like, maybe I just went on an off time. I don't know. Maybe I just went on an off time. Shoe Brew was the correct one. Thank you. It's a place I always wanted to go to. If you take from Slippery Rock and you go into Ohio, you will go through Broadman, Ohio, and then there's a place called Vintage Estates. There's hotels right next to it, so you can stay at the hotel. But Vintage Estates apparently has like 1,000 different beers and 1,000 different wines, and they have like a mead bar there and stuff like that. So I definitely want to check that out. And it's on, I think it's on like 240. Nah, I'm trying to remember because it's been a long time since I ever looked at a fucking map. But it's on like 254 or something like that, or 245. Or 242 or something like that, and it goes all the way through Ohio, but it also shoots exactly through Akron. So, and it just kind of goes straight through. And then in Akron, of course, you got Thirsty Dog, and you have Hoppin' Frog, and it's not too fucking far away from Vintage Estate. So you could hit Hoppin' Frog, load up on goodies, Thirsty Dog, load up on goodies. Now, I'm sure there's a fucking other brewery or bottle shop near there fucking too. Go right back to Vintage Estates at your hotel. You're sorted. You're pretty much sorted. Jessup's Tavern in Newcastle, DE, Delaware. Well, there you go. No taxes. Even better. Yeah, that would be cool. I went to Delaware once to visit a friend, but that was before I drank beer. So, haven't been back since, but if I do, I'll have to go check it out. There's a place I like, Evolution Brewing Company, and that is in Shavertown or something like that in Maryland. It's like right at the border of Delaware and Maryland, and they have a lot number 3 pale ale or IPA or something like that. And if you can get that fresh, I can just literally slug bottles in one gulp back. Just put the whole thing in a can, just slam. Yeah, Vintage Estates in Broadman, Ohio. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely check it out if you have. Yeah, I'm sure you've been there. There's another place a little bit further north in Ohio near the Willoughby Brewing Company. It's called Red, White, and Brew. I've heard that's pretty good. I've never been there though, but I know it's up more that northeastern part of Ohio, because my friend went to the Willoughby Brewing Company and bought some stuff there, and I know it's pretty much close to that kind of general vicinity. But yeah, Broadman, Vintage Estates, Broadman, Ohio. You just take that 242 or 240, whatever it is, you just keep going out, and then you hit Akron, and then you can go to Hoppin' Frog and Thirsty Dog, because both brewing companies are pretty fucking good. So, and I love Hoppin' Frog. Their Taurus, the bourbon barrel aged Taurus, the Tyrant, has to still be one of the best beers I've ever had. Just fucking fantastic. You have like the apple brandy barrel aged JW Lee's from 2013, and you have that one. I mean, there's it's kind of nice when you can. It's not just one beer. It's not like what's the best beer you have never ever had, but it's nice when you like. There's like 10. That's one of them, and that's one of them, and you know what I mean? So they do make some pretty good beer. Like this is a nice beer. Nothing wrong with it. Definitely not going to dump it out or anything. I just think it's it's not crazy. It's not a crazy beer. It's not bombastic. It's not sticking with you. After you drink it, you'll go, yeah, I had a beer yesterday. It was pretty good. You know, it's one of those beers. But you're like, oh my fucking god, I had this beer towards the Tyrant Bourbon Barrel Age. It just fucking blew me away. You know what I mean? It's not one of those beers that you talk about. It's a beer that you go, yeah, I had a beer. It was pretty good. It's nothing that you know, 2 or 3 days later, you're still gonna be like, oh man, I wish I had that. It's just a good beer. The bunny doesn't care. The bunny does its own thing. It just kind of hops around, is looking at me, looking at you, eating some corn, having a good time, whatever. Bunny doesn't give a shit. I took my kids to the Tractor Supply store recently while we were just out and about, my daughter and I, my youngest. And of course, all the little baby chicks are in. So now she wants me to fix up all the chicken coops and fix the fences and get chickens again. I'm like, I'll think about it. So having chickens is nice. Being self-sustaining is nice. I do like it. I mean, back when I raised chickens and ducks and stuff like that, we always had eggs. We always had poultry, depending on what the situation was. It's a lot of work. You know what I mean? And when you're raising so many animals, chickens or whatever, you're getting eggs. But I don't eat that many eggs. You know what I mean? So you have to bump up your supply, like what you do with eggs and how you eat them. Because then you're spending $20, $22, $30 a month on animals when you only normally consume $6 or $7 a month of eggs. You see, and then you have all these other eggs, and then hopefully you can sell your eggs to make up for the fact, you know what I mean? We did sell eggs. But then you have to start collecting cartons, you know, to collect the eggs, and then you sell the eggs, and then in the winter the chickens stop laying eggs, but you still got to feed the fuckers. And then of course if you have to go someplace for like a long period of time, then you have to make sure someone comes over and takes care of them. You know what I mean? So then now you're depending on people, and I've never been a good person I've never had good experiences, let's say, for sure, depending on people, if you know what I mean. Last time I depended on someone to take care of my chickens, I got back 3 days later, the chickens were out of their coop, my door was open to my house, it was humid as fuck in my house, and there was chickens running around in it. So let's just say I wasn't happy, but no one was dead. You know what I mean? My dogs were, you know, I was like, my dogs were outside, chained up. I don't know when the last time they got water or food was. The chickens were in my fucking house, and everything was moist in my house because of the humidity. Believe me, I was not happy. Luckily, the dogs were okay. The chickens got kicked out of my house, and I cleaned up whatever mess there was. But it just kind of, you don't want to depend on people. You know what I mean? Unless you know you can throttle the fuck out of them when you get back home. Never found that guy since, because I was gonna kick his ass. But I fucked his girlfriend afterwards, so that was good. There you go. So, it was one of those things. Yeah, things happen in life. But yeah, this beer, I didn't give a rating. I was actually supposed to give a rating back. I always said, like, I was trying to get the beer review done and give a rating, and then I could start talking about nonsense, and I fucked up again. It's okay. It's an okay beer. I mean, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It's not. Whoop! See, look at that, ninja reflexes. It does what it does. It is what it is. It does what it does. It's not good. It's not bad. It's there. It's a good. I mean, it's solid for an American style bourbon barrel aged barley wine. It's okay. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't see why anyone would give it higher than an 8. I just don't, because it's not excelling at anything. It just is. It's doing what it's doing. Well, I'm glad I amused you, Brother Craig. Yeah. So it is what it is. And the rabbit just eating some corn. there it is. And I'm almost done with it, honestly. Well, it really hasn't changed too much. It got a little hazier on the bottom because I'm assuming there's some natural sedimentation that will just kind of settle over time, but nothing really to speak of. The body hasn't changed. The flavors really haven't changed that much. Just a little bit more, just a touch hazier than they used to be, but nothing too crazy. Yeah. I'm gonna try to do some camping this year, hiking, camping and stuff. I think people are telling me, rumor-wise, my gyms will be opening up next week. If that is the case, I'm going to start going back to the gym on my lunch breaks at work, which I'm looking forward to because the corona gut is massive. It needs to go away. I need to lose at least 20 pounds by mid-August. You know what I mean? Because I gained a lot because I've just been eating junk food. Because the only place you can go to get food at 2 in the morning or whatever, because everything that's 24 hours, because you could get whatever you wanted whenever you wanted, so you can get health food, you can get whatever. Because of the bullshit that's going on, they limited everything to, 10 hours this way, that way, this way. The bunny ran away, but it wasn't because of me. So we've just been going to this place where you can get like fries and mozzarella sticks and bullshit and like that, burgers and stuff. So we've just been eating that all fucking day. So the gut is raging. So I need to take a little bit more time, start cooking better for myself. Probably crock pot will be utilized quite a bit. But if I can the fact that I can start exercising gives me that a little bit of mental motivation to eat better, if you know what I mean. You're eating better, but you're also exercising. So if you're exercising, not eating better, what's the point of exercise? But if you're exercising, you better eat better, if you know what I mean. And then it kind of plays hand in hand. So I'm eating better, but I'm not exercising. So why am I eating better? So fuck it. But when you're doing both, your brain automatically kicks into that mental mode where you're just more focused on doing both. There are 4 bunnies running around like bastards over there. If this was cold weather, they would make a nice meal. But I'm not doing that right now. I'm just letting them do their ill-mannered frivolity all through the garden and having a good time doing it. So good on you, bunny. Cheers to the bunnies. Yeah, that's I got coffee like a normal human today. I actually went to the store, went to the order coffee button, and it said self-service coffee is now available. I'm like, okay, and I looked over and all the coffee cups are back. I just pulled one out and made my own coffee and paid for it. I was like, wow, a little bit of normalcy came back into my life today. That little bit. This isn't a Corona beard. This is I live as a hermit in the woods beard. And I just figure, fuck it, let's do it. Like a huge garden? No, this is just a field. This is just my parents. They only have a little garden over there. This is actually just the field. This is just a land yard. No big garden. I actually got my gardens going over at the house. They're just box gardens. There's little totes that I put box gardens in. I don't think my parents even own. I think their land actually stops. There's a little line right there, just a little bit past that stump that they own. But they kind of go down and mow the whole fucking thing anyway because they like it neat and tidy. Because all the grandkids go down there and play and stuff like that. And nobody complains. They just they probably appreciate the fact that it gets mowed. So yeah, it's only, but it's a big yard. They have a nice big yard, which is good. I'm glad because, like I said, the grandkids, they got, how many grandkids? They got 4 grandkids, and then because my sister started dating some other asshole, he has like a kid or 2 or whatever. So I mean that's quite a bit. So They run and play. Both my daughters are old enough. They just jump on the actual tractors and just fire up the tractors and just take off, which is cool. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. You look back and there's a wagon with a bunch of kids in it, driven by another kid, and they're going, we're just taking a wagon ride. Hey, have fun. Just don't try to run over anybody. And if you do, hide the body. That's the important part. You know, it's not about murdering the fucker. It's about getting away with it. That's the important part. Anyone can murder somebody. It takes a real fucking skill to get away with it. Yeah. Yeah, just kind of, it's one of those nice days that really sucks because they want me to go to a meeting today at work, so I'm gonna have to drink this beer, get some rest, go back to work. It's my day off too, which is really nice when they want you to go to work on your day off. When, you know, you'll work 60 hours a week, but they want you to come in on your day off, you know, just for fun. So it's good. Got some more painting stuff in the mail today. Got some more stencils, animal stencils, because I like to try to start playing with more different. I do deer and I do stuff, but I got some elk and I got some moose. I could probably do the moose and do the elk and do the deer, but I found out if I'm just gonna slam out a painting, and because I do paintings like in a half an hour, you know. Brother Craig knows that because he watches my Painting with PABrewNews channel on this same account. If you haven't watched that, please do. But I like to kind of get my acrylics all dried and ready to go, and then slam a painting on top of them. And if I'm just slamming an acrylic together, pop the stencil on, boom, deer stencil. And then you go through with a little liner brush and you make all the little adjustments. And it's not a perfect stencil, like even the deer ones. It's rough, it's bubbly, you know what I mean? So you do the stencil and then you gotta take it off. And then you have to go through with a liner brush and make the hair, and then make the antlers, and make this, and make... So it takes a little bit of time, but it still saves a lot of other time, if you know what I mean. So, got that going. So I'm probably gonna do some paintings this week a little bit. Well, I gotta start framing them. I got a bunch of skids in the driveway I gotta cut up anyway. I need to make room in the driveway, so gotta cut up a lot of skids, make some painting frames, get some stone for the driveway, get my fucking house better so it doesn't look like a fucking scumbag lives there. I have a lot of things to do. I'm a very busy man. I have to put in a sink that I bought a bathroom sink, a cabinet thing I gotta do, because right now my sink is just all ripped apart and a bucket's underneath it, and the kids keep overflowing the bucket, which is not fun. So I have to fix that too. So just one of the many things that needs done in my life. But other than that, everything's going pretty good. I have a job, I'm getting paid. You know, I can't complain. I can't complain. Even if I did complain, it's not gonna fix anything. And I don't know if you've noticed this, I try not to talk about any current topics because current topics suck and I don't give a fuck what this world is doing and these stupid humans and their shit. So just a little thing right there. I don't give a fuck. And no lives matter, by the way. So there, fuck you. There we go. And this is almost the end of this. That's alright. I mean, honestly, it was like 17 bucks though. And honestly, it just doesn't give the boom for the price. It doesn't give me a $17 And honestly, even the latest edition of KBS that I got was not giving me an $18 you know what I mean? It wasn't giving me... See, this was like a 12, 11, like 11 buck, 10 buck, 12 buck bottle. Like if this was like 11 bucks a bottle, fuck yeah. Or 12 bucks. It's a 12 ABV, 12 bucks. Yeah, sure. For a buck percentage of ABV, I'd buy that. Or like, you know, a $13 13 ABV bottle of KBS, 13 bucks. Yeah, I'd buy that. I don't give a fuck about the whole founders thing. I think that's ridiculous. When I actually heard what everyone was pissed off about. I was like, you fucking idiots. You're so stupid. You don't even know what you're fucking talking about. But like I said, I don't talk about bullshit around here because I don't care. I don't care what people think. And I don't care about people's emotions, because emotions are the worst thing that a human can have. Their feelings. I was offended. What happens when you get offended? Nothing. You don't get cancer or Ebola or anything. You get pussy and your cunt bleeds. Fuck off. I don't give a shit. Move on with your life. There's way bigger issues that people should be worried about than just something that offends them slightly. I mean, we have some real serious issues in the world. Fucking shut up. Yeah. But, yeah, this, if it was 10 something, I'd buy it. But I'm not going to buy another bottle at 17 bucks. It's okay. It's 8 out of 10. It's alright. If someone handed me this, I would be happy as a motherfucker. Fuck yeah. It's going to be one of those kind of deals. But once you get over the $10 range, then you're going to start going, well, yeah, but there's this, or yeah, but there's that, or yeah, but there's this. So then you're going to start getting more and more like that once you get further and further over the, I didn't catch it that time, but further and further over the $10 range, you're going to start debating where your money's going, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like when you get, well, CBS or KBS, you know what I mean, or those kind of things. Then you're going, well. Because there were certain vintages of KBS and stuff like that where you're like, this is fucking fantastic, just absolutely fantastic. And then there's some vintages because craft beer naturally changes with year, with season, the terroir. You're supposed to notice a change, and you can notice a change in KBS. Bourbon County Brand Stout, of course, all the people that say, I don't buy macro, I don't buy this, but they buy Bourbon County Brand Stout every year because you're a fucking hypocrite and an asshole. Well, there's that. And then Bourbon County Brand Stout is usually about 18 bucks a bottle. If you don't buy a case, obviously it's cheaper if you buy a case. But by bottle, it's usually about, around here, it's about 18, 19 bucks a bottle. But at the same time, I really haven't had a bottle of Bourbon County Brand Stout, especially, I'm talking about the 16 ounces now. They're about $18, $19 a bottle. Of course, it was cheaper for the smaller ones. But I still really haven't had a bottle of Bourbon County Brand Stout that I have ever said, you know what, this was too much money. It was one of those kind of like, oh shit, this is fucking fantastic. Last bottle of Bourbon County Brand Stout I bought was I bought it because it wasn't the normal, because I was kind of gonna poo-poo the normal. I've had it too many times, you know, the KBS has been falling short. Fuck it, I just won't buy it. And then I found a bottle of the, what was it? The Olo de Cafe or something like that. I can't remember. It was a coffee variant. It was like a Mexican coffee variant of Bourbon County Brand Stout. And it was a 10. It was like one of those 10s that kind of randomly came out of nowhere where you didn't expect you were going to get a 10. It was one of those best beers I've ever had. Not ever had, or at least a year. I was like, oh my god, this is just kicking fucking tits. Like, and I went back to buy another bottle, even though it was $18 or $19, and it was gone. And I'm like, you know what? I had mine. I'm happy. You know, at least I was happy. At least I had a chance to try it. But it was one of those really surprising ones. I had it, and I go, you know what? I haven't had this much fun drinking a beer in a long time, and give it a fucking 10. Boom. It's one of those things. It's not like Peter. He gives 10s out because it's Tuesday, you know. Right, Peter? Right, I'm verbally abusing you again, right? Right? You're not going to watch this long anyway. But anyway, this has been Paul from PABrewNews. Let me finish this. Oh. There it is. Trip in the Woods Barrel Aged Series Vintage Bigfoot Ale Aged in Bourbon Barrels from Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. I'll give it that 8 out of 10. It's alright. This is Paul from PABrewNews. And yeah, good afternoon, Paul. Well, good afternoon to you too. And in the words of Jim Cornette, this has been Paul from PABrewNews. Thank you, fuck you, bye. Cheers.